Penny's Big Breakaway is the first game to come to us from Evening Star, a team created by the developers of Sonic Mania. Despite the success of the team's previous works, Penny's Big Breakaway did not perform well financially, and the team had to cut its staff. While we don't know for sure why Penny's Big Breakaway was not a breakaway success, there are a few theories present. The first of which was the amount of bugs present at launch, which likely turned a lot of people away. There have also been some that claimed it was Penny's design, but I personally don't see a problem with it. I would have to chalk its poor sales up to the fact that Penny's Big Breakaway is just not that good. While I don't consider it a bad game by any means, I found it rather disappointing, and it lacked the finesse that is necessary for a truly great platformer. This can be seen almost immediately in the visual design, where each level is splattered with dozens of brightly colored pastels that all clash with each other, similar to a coloring book filled in by a small child. This makes each level look and feel excessively similar to each other, and it breaks any sense of immersion into this game's world. I mean, just look at this. How in the name of fuck does a level with an outer space background still have so many clashing colors? This game is a crime against visual art direction. If it sounds like I'm nitpicking here, I'm not. Penny's Big Breakaway is a 3D platformer, a genre where aesthetics and art design are vital. Look at any game considered a classic in the genre, and you will notice that art design and aesthetics are especially important, and that they were about significantly more than just get from point A to point B. I can at least give credit to the character animation for doing its job, but the visual design just kills so much of the potential right off the bat. The music is one of the better qualities of this game. The soundtrack is co-composed by T. Lopes, Sean Bialo, and Christian Whitehead himself. It's worth noting that T. Lopes has a fairly prolific career, having previously been the lead composer for Sonic Mania and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and having also composed music for YouTubers Some Call Me Johnny, Kedikarus, and Scott the Woz. Sean Bialo doesn't have as much of a pedigree as T. Lopes, but he has previously contributed to Double Dragon Gaiden and Spark the Electric Jester 3. The three of them did an excellent job with the soundtrack. Despite my less than stellar views regarding the game, I'm going to have Jigs Up Penny stuck in my head for the rest of my life. This also seems like the best place to mention that a friend of mine is really insistent that the Busker bonus theme sounds like porn music. For writing this review, I decided to give it a close listen to see if there was anything I was missing. I don't hear it. It just sounds like goofy cartoony music to me. However, I did realize that the song in question is titled Trick of the Wrist, and that 2 spots later on the playlist there's a song called Penny in a Pinch, so I guess the joke is on me. Gameplay-wise, I can see what Penny's Big Breakaway was going for. It was an attempt at a Sonic-inspired platformer with less emphasis on speed and more emphasis on stunts and fancy maneuvers. The intent is to make each level feel like a performance, and with emphasis on the end-of-level score. If I found the base game engaging, then I'm sure this would provide a fair amount of replay value beyond the initial playthrough. The first problem is the levels are forgettable and bland. No, seriously, at time of writing, I'm struggling to remember any noteworthy details of the levels even though I just finished the game. I'm probably going to need to look at some gameplay footage or something. Okay, I think I get why I found this game so dull. A major part is the visual design, as I already stated. The other part, however, is that the level design is very simplistic. There just really isn't anything done other than get to the end of the level and maybe go after the gears and collect designated items for NPC that has a task, and that's often timed, so you always fail on the first attempt and have to restart it if you want to try again. Oh, and we can't forget about the power-ups that only exist to get past designated plot barrier, and that time out as soon as you get past plot barrier so you can't use them for anything else. The biggest problem with Penny's Big Breakaway is that it's clearly not made for a general audience. It's made for speedrunners. It's for people whose first instinct upon playing the game is to see how they can break it and deconstruct it to the point that large swaths of the game can be skipped. And yes, I'm fully aware of the irony of this game being slower paced than most 3D Sonic games while being more geared for speedrunning.
People say like platformers are too short. They're such short games. But the way that I play them, it It takes like 700 hours to get past the first level.
What you are watching now comes from Video Game Donkey's review, and this is immediately what he starts doing upon playing it. Seeing this review did give me an appreciation for the intricacy with which its movement system was developed, but what use is it when the world around it is uninteresting? I never had any desire to play through a stage more than once because there was nothing given to me. I don't feel any desire to go back and improve my performance in a level that barely kept my attention the first time, and no amount of points number go up will change that. What can I say? I prefer to play my games and not methodically deconstruct them to make imaginary number go up. And to quell the inevitable get good response, Penny's Big Breakaway is not a hard game. This isn't Dark Souls with yo-yos and gestures. I think that Penny's Big Breakaway offers a lot of insight into the Sonic series' struggle to transition into 3D. They have the team that made Sonic Mania, the most highly acclaimed Sonic game in years, and one that many claim is superior to the classic Mega Drive games, and then they made this slop. The difference is, the former is 2D and the latter is 3D. Oh, and both used the same engine, which I'm sure went very smoothly and didn't create any problems with development. As for whether I can recommend Penny's Big Breakaway, I'm not sure. At the very least, I'd just wait for a sale.